Beholders, the hovering horrors, xenophobic masterminds wielding immeasurable ocular power, known for their varied eyeball-centric magical rays, their alien-esque plots of world domination and general evil. These are some of the most iconic monsters in Dungeons and Dragons. But who cares?
Well, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? Welcome.
I didn't know you were going Jersey.
Oh, that's all right. Who cares?
Who cares?
Welcome to Dungeon Class. It's Logan. It's Gonzo. And today we're talking about having fun with Beholders, the most terrifying monster in all of Dungeons and Dragons. Mm-hmm. But our versions are even scarier.
I would think so.
So what are we gonna do today? We're trying to have fun with an ice stalk that floats above the ground and shoots death rays and anti-magic zones and fireballs at will, that kind of thing. How are we gonna have fun with that?
Beholders are already really fun monsters to begin with. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes I know I run into this a lot. As a DM, if I want to use a Beholder, I kind of use that one type of Beholder.
Sure.
Or any monster, really. And I remember we were talking with Mark, and he mentioned Drizzt, the Dark Elf Ranger from the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
And he was originally, a monster. Drow are originally a monster race in the old books and everything. But because of this one outlier, this one character who went beyond their environments and their stereotypes, they created Drow as a playable race, as someone that players could use. And I think it opened up a lot of options and just a lot of perspective on just how monsters can be used in general. I think that any monster can really be pushed to find unique and creative ways to use them. Just real different things. And to show that,
let's do it. So Mark, you and I got together and came up with 3 different versions of a Beholder that we feel are very different than the typecast that we normally see within the Monster Manual or even in books you may read or something. So tell us, what's the first one? What's the one that you really fell in love with?
I think the first one that we came up with, we were thinking about, just the look of the Beholder, like the one big eyeball. Mm-hmm. And you said, man, wouldn't that be funny if it was just like Mike Wazowski? One of the funny things about Mike Wazowski is in the movies, he's a monster that wants to be scary, but is more naturally funny.
Right.
And what about a Beholder who's naturally really scary, but wants to be funny?
He's the comedian.
Yeah. He's a comedian. Instead of his eye stalks shooting disintegrate and enervation and death, it's charm person. Tasha's hideous laughter.
Applause at will.
Yeah. Mass applause.
Mass applause, right. So he uses his powers to basically torment the entertainment industry and get the crowd worked up. He like you said, he may be booked out at every event because he basically mass suggestion everybody to come to his entertainment, his comedic concerts, I guess. So So the players may be either confronted with this, maybe they walk in and are noticing that everyone's clapping when things aren't funny or laughing when it can lead to a lot of comedic interplay between the players and this Beholder. Do they do anything to stop it? Do they just let it go and watch? Does the Beholder get mad if the players don't fall to his laugh at his jokes? Or
because he doesn't necessarily have to be evil. He's trying to be entertaining. He's trying to do what he wants to do. And whether you as the DM want to use him as more of a, if they don't laugh he disintegrates someone, or just as like a kind of a failing comedian who's desperate for more material.
Whether he does slapstick humor or tells jokes that just fall flat or whatever it may be.
What are they, vegetables or fruit? And what does that make? Ketchup.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! That sounds like a lot of fun. It would definitely be a break in the normal heavy tones that we generally have in our role-playing games, especially Dungeons & Dragons. Yet it would still fit right in there. I think the players would have a lot of fun. I know the Dungeon Master would, just coming up with jokes and things that he tells. I would pick
especially
the corniest
bad jokes.
The worst dad jokes you could ever find. Just pick the worst jokes and then let the players go crazy, see what happens. But the comedian Beholder, definitely a terrifying monster. But I came up with one. Mark and I have a lot of experience with teenagers. I've raised over 6 kids, plus or minus. No, definitely plus. And I've been around teenagers a lot in my life. And Mark, unfortunately, his career, or fortunately, is working with teenagers.
Yeah, he's a high school teacher.
Yeah, high school. Yeah, sorry, Mark. So being that as it may, that is the scariest monster that some people can come across, and that is a teenager. So we came up with a teenager beholder, someone who's very young as a beholder and uses his powers and his abilities to maybe hire adventurers to get through a bully, or maybe he's fallen in love for the third time and he wants the adventurers to convince so-and-so to fall, or she wants the adventurers to convince the captain of the ogre football team to fall in love with her, or whatever it may be. So full of angst, full of drama, you know. But Daddy, I love him.
Daddy, I love him!
Right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and it'd just be a fun beholder to play as a dungeon master. It'd be someone who may hire the group to do something for him, or may have conflict with the group if they're preventing that beholder from doing what it thinks is so important in its life.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I was just thinking, if I were to run this in my game, a lot of times Beholder is really known for its lair and all the traps and abilities it has in its lair. But like at least my room as a teenager, what if it's just messy? The adventurers go into this big cave and expecting this giant alien realm with all these professional traps and magical artifacts and this big menacing evil monster. They come into just a pigsty with food everywhere and garbage and broken barrels and like twisted up old hand-me-down artifacts. And instead of this commanding presence, it's get out of my lair. What? Oh man!
Got any fruits or vegetables?
So it's voice changing. Beholder as well. He's going through puberty.
Yeah.
So
that's.
I mean, whatever you want to do, but de-aging the monster, making it different than the typecast that we're used to, than the stereotype we're used to, using a different stereotype, could again add a lot of humor to the game, and also the conflict would be completely different. It would be different between the players and the beholder. Yeah, and I think a lot of the role play would kind of write itself as well. A lot of the narrative, it'd be something that a lot of people could relate to. I mean. Everyone either has been or will be a teenager. And so there's a kind of universal understanding of, oh man, not only is this a monster, it's the worst kind. Very emotional. It's a teenage monster. Right. Yeah.
You want to waste your life hanging out with a bunch of dorky teenagers?
Here's your taco, mister. Whoops, fell in the fryer. I'll get it out. Oh! Oh! Oh!
And we love teenagers. Again, that's been part of my unprofessional career as well as in my home life, and I know Mark professionally works with them, so there's a lot of potential there, and there's also a lot of angst and drama that you can use for fun.
Yeah, very impressionable. Imagine a teenage beholder that meets with these adventurers and instead is inspired to be a hero himself.
That's a good idea.
I don't know, lots of ideas.
You never know. But what's the third that Mark, you and I came up with, variant to a beholder, a stereotype of a beholder? What did we do to change that?
This one we thought would be really fun to kind of redesign the beholder, not just as the kind of character it is, but in its anatomy and the design of the creature. Okay, picture this. Gonzo. You're walking through a big dungeon. It's rumored to have a terrifying beast within, akin to a beholder. And you know that beholders have like these little floating eyeball servants.
Stalks, yeah. They have the little minions.
There's variants, right? Like elderly beholders can kind of do the beholder form of a lich and be a death tyrant. So you think there's some kind of beholder something in here, and you turn the corner, and there it is in its room, and it's this giant bulbous head with just one eye, one little tiny eye stalk on its head, and just a big mouth, and you're. And the main attack of Beholder is its eye rays, right?
Well, and all us metagamers know, well, if it's only got one eye, that's only one ray that it can shoot at us. So if we cut that off, we're good.
Yeah, weak sauce.
Yeah.
It's done.
We can get what we want from him or her or whatever.
Wrong.
Why?
You attack this Beholder, you go after its eye stalk, and much like the Hydra, two more come out once you destroy one.
Cut one off to take its place.
Yeah, and so you could run into a brand new fledgling Hydrolder, Hydra Beholder mutant thing. And it only has one or two or three eye stalks. Or you could run into one that's been around a while and has 15 plus.
30, yeah.
30.
Right.
Like, how
that would be terrifying, right.
And we thought it'd be kind of fun to mix it up with instead of the normal kind of rays that the eyes get between, disintegrate, death. You can look them up.
Right.
What if you rolled on like a wild magic table?
Right.
One of the eyes comes out. It's got a bright green pupil, and if it hits you with its ray, you turn to a potted plant.
Right. Right.
Or you and everything around you turns invisible.
Right. So as a dungeon
Just
master, you can have fun creating the list. We've created our own PDF list that'll be available to our patrons soon. But creating your own list of using the normal eyes that we would expect, as well as a bunch of different ones, whatever you want to come up with. And yeah, that would be crazy, walking in and either finding one eye and the players not knowing, oh, this is going to be easy, or 20 eyes or something, and not realizing how many times it's going to, depending on the level of the players, that may be terrifying. So either way, just by simply changing the design of the beholder, you've already made it harder to kill, different than us metagamers, those who know what a beholder is and what to expect. And again, more fun because it changes things. It's not what we expect. And I think that's the key, like you said in the beginning of the video, is that if you're doing this as a dungeon master, you're trying to just have more fun. You and the players are going to have more fun by simply casually changing something of the design of the beholder, of the monster.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. So whether it's their motive or their design itself, or their age or something.
Yeah. So. And these have been our fun designs and our unique takes on beholders. I mean, the options are limitless. Let us know in the comments if you guys have any other kind of ideas that you would use for beholders, and also let us know what kind of monsters you'd want to see us have fun with next.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe.
And with that, class dismissed.